Ladies and gentlemen of Knucklehead Nation, we are live for episode 10 of the Fighters Rep podcast. I'm your host, the Fighters Rep Fez George, along with Gary Martin to your far right. And we have a very special guest today, a young, upcoming, rising star that really made a big splash in the Lion's Den at Fighters Rep 19, none other than Edgar Fraga. Edgar, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing good. What about you?
I'm doing good, man. Listen, I feel like you're getting a lot of buzz after that performance at Fighters Rep 19. I want to say that your clip has broken maybe like 70,000 views right now on our Instagram or something like that. I'm not sure if you've seen that. And that was just a tremendous performance, man. That was a tremendous performance. Kind of tell me how you're feeling about it now that, it's been about a week or so or 2 weeks or whatever it's been since we had Fighters Rep 19, how you felt about your performance. How has everybody at Classic Fight Team and the Fraga clan reacted?
I felt like I could have done a little better, been a little more technical, but it was good because it was the other guy who wanted to push the pace on me. I felt so there was no other way that I could stop him, like putting him down. I guess.
Yeah.
He didn't want to stop coming forward. I mean, whether it was technical or not, I feel like it wasn't that technical. I know I have good technique. I didn't really get to show it too much in this fight, but I feel like I could have done a little better, maybe just circled out better. But other than that, I mean, I got the finish, so that was good. But just I want to show my technique more. That's what I hope to do the next time I'm in the Lions Den.
I hear you, Gary. Any thoughts?
Yeah,
I know you got to watch stuff.
you know what's funny? He was like, the other guy's pushing the pace. Alec, he was pushing the pace, and I thought the same thing. Like, well, he's coming at him, but I mean, I didn't honestly. I didn't think that the dude Alec was that technical. He was swinging wild and he was coming forward. I thought, he held his composure with a guy coming at him, like that, and I actually thought you were pretty technical. Only thing the same thing you said was the, circle out more or whatever, stay out the ropes a little bit. But other than that, I mean, I thought you had the crisper punches. I thought you were every time he tried to smother you, you kept your distance. You kept him at, even when you hurt him, some people jump in there and try to finish a guy and they get grabbed and they let the guy recover. You still kept your distance and you tried to finish him from a distance, get your perfect shot in. He caught you now, but he told the chin now. He got caught. He's all right. He caught me, but I thought through the whole fight you were a more technical guy. I thought you were a better fighter. I thought he kind of was just running in to get hit. I mean, that's the way I seen it.
Thank you. But yeah, I felt the same way. I felt like he was just pressing the pace. He did catch me a little, but that was my fault. After I had dropped him the first time, I did try to keep my distance, and then I had kept clipping him, and he just wouldn't go down until and there was this one point I think in the fight where I swung and like threw myself almost like onto the rope, and after that is when I got clipped, and then I was like, okay. It was like I got my composure back in like 1 second. It just made my feet wobble for like a second. After that, I was ready because I saw him come at me with the Superman punch, got out of the way, hit him a little, then angled and squared off with him. And then I tried to keep it technical again, regardless of the way he was coming at me.
Yeah.
I noticed he thought he hurt you. And then he went in for that Superman punch and you countered that. And you could see him, he's like surprised and hurt, right? He reacted to it like, oh man, he just got me. But then he turned around and came at you again. But let me ask you, what made you go after with that right? I mean, did you see something with that right hand? Because that right hand you had the fight with was just ridiculous. That was just ridiculous. And you landed that over and over again. But the fight-ending right hand, it's almost like you went up to him and you threw it knowing that this is going to land and this is going to finish the fight. That's what it looked like to me.
Honestly, it was my coaches. My coaches have really good fight IQ. Both Diego Paez and Tyler Wombles, the some of the main coaches at Classic Fight Team.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
have some of the best fight IQ out there. They noticed that even from before, and we tried a couple different things. If you see, I go for the upper a couple times.
Yep.
That doesn't really land, and then they call tap over, and it landed the first time, and I put him down, and then the second time we clinched up when he said he came after me after he rocked me. We clinched up. I threw a knee. They broke us, and then I heard my coach call it again because it had landed. It had dropped him the first time. I kept my composure. You could see me even take a deep breath, and then I went in for it, and it just landed.
yeah. Well, what a way to set off the night. That was a way to set off the night. And I don't know if you know this about me, Edgar. I purposely put fight number one as a fight that I think will set the tone for the night. And man, did you guys set the tone for the night? I mean, did you feel that crowd? Did you were you nervous out there? Because it was crazy there. Even, I mean, at the start of the event for your fight, the place was loud and packed and crazy. And you guys set that place on fire.
Yeah, I heard the energy. The energy was crazy. I can't wait to get back in there and hear that same. The crowd feels amazing when you do well, when you land. Even when you get hit, you just hear the crowd, regardless of what's happening. But
Yeah.
I like keeping my composure, but that also gets you hyped. Like putting on a show for the crowd. That's the best. That's what I want. I want everyone to see what I'm made of and what skills I have.
Well, let me ask you something. Speaking of loving the crowd, loving the experience, it wasn't a long experience because it ended pretty quick. I mean, people get accidents. I mean, be like, dang, I wish I could have win like a round or two more. Or you like, hell, if I can get him out there in 30 seconds, I can get him out there in 30 seconds. I don't care. Which one, like, did you want more time or not?
I mean, regardless of the time, I was hunting for that body or that leg. He's really flat-footed. I knew this thing was gonna finish him. Just like coach told me, train to get the fish, regardless of what happens in the fight. Train to kill, not to outpoint them or anything.
I don't know. Sometimes you just want to get some work in. Like, maybe give me one more round to get some work in, really, because like you said, you want to be more technical, show what you really got. Sometimes it feels like you're robbed. Like, hey, I'm better than even that. I didn't get to show you because it was over so quick.
It was a pretty good fight. I thought maybe they were gonna let it go a little longer because I did see him get up again right away. And I was obviously ready to go again. I think the fight ended at 1 minute and 49 seconds. So I would have had 11 seconds to go for him again. But I know the 3 knockdown rule. So I probably, regardless, would have just went for the kill. Just try to get that 3rd knockdown.
Yeah.
Man, and I was okay with that stoppage, especially for an amateur fight, because there was a lot of damage in that fight. There was a lot of damage. You guys were damaging each other. Shout out to Alec too. I mean, he landed his shots. He did well. But man, Edgar, you really shined. You really made a big impression that night. And I look at guys like Jason Granado. I look at guys like David Rivera, who's a stablemate of yours over there at Classic. And Gary, if you don't know, I mean, Tyler Womble's one of the best, striking coaches in the world. TJ Dillashaw, would come by and train over there at Classic. And, so Edgar's part of a fantastic team. But, I look at guys like Rivera, I look at guys like Granado, and then I look at young upcoming guys like yourself, and I say, man, there's a lot of talent to be discovered. So, I do look forward to you coming back. We're trying to get you back in November. We're hoping to have you back in November. Is that something you want to do? Are you looking to get back in there and keep building on this momentum that you have?
Yeah, I was talking to the matchmaker. We have a match maybe in the making. I'm going to talk to my coach, but I'm looking to get back in there ready. I love the no shin guards. I love the no headgear. That's what I'm there for.
Yeah, yeah, and that's the thing we kind of fought for too. Gary is the state of California was trying to force these amateurs to wear headgear and shin guards up until their fifth fight. I think I told you that, and I had to
Yeah.
sit down. I had to sit down with the head of the commission, and I told him, "Listen, headgear is actually causing more harm. That's why they banned it in the Olympics. Let's not do this to these kids." And luckily, Edgar's now at the point where he doesn't have to wear it anymore. And I think it's not only safer, it's a more of a realistic fight, something to prepare him when he decides to go pro. So I'm very happy about that. Edgar, I wanted to ask you personally, you said you wanted to be more technical. That means to me that the emotions got the better of you at least a little bit at some point, right? What was it? Do you feel like it's still, was it just you were just excited? You wanted to get him out of there. You saw he was hurt. Was it the crowd? You just wanted to show out for your family, your team? What was it that kind of got you into a dogfight essentially at times in that ring?
It probably was a little bit of emotion, but I think I came out technical regardless at the beginning. But once I had dropped him, that's when I had lost the technicality. That's when I started going for him not too technical. Because at first he was coming at me and I wasn't really throwing, but I was still trying to defend and read him, see what I could land. But then after I had landed like I had wanted to, I just let my emotions get the most of me and went crazy for him.
And it looks like you've strung 2 wins in a row now. I mean, is that when when did you start at Classic? Do you feel like they've kind of helped you get these wins under your belt now? And because here's the thing, I'll say this. I mean, when I see Classic, I'm like, yes, I like this team. This team has a pedigree. I want these people on my card right away. And I'll tell you this, when I saw that you went to the open workout, you took the initiative to go to the open workout, get yourself some free media, get yourself some free video and show off what you can do. And when I saw you hitting the mitts and I saw the skills, I was like, man, this kid is serious. This kid looks like he's focused. And so does Alec. And I want to make this his fight number one. So again, I just want to ask you, tell me about that linking up with Classic. When did that happen? And now you've got 2 wins in a row. That's got to feel good.
Exactly, yeah. So my backstory was I had trained at this grappling gym in Tustin, and I had met a coach there. He was from Brazil. His name was Macon Oler. He has done a lot of kickboxing and Muay Thai, like about 70 pro fights. And when I first started, I was like 16. Then I started with him. He started teaching me the basics, and I had started getting really good technique. Eventually, I had told him I wanted to compete, and he had told me I had to lose weight because back then I used to weigh like 190. So,
Wow.
I was like, oh, okay. He was like, if you fight at that weight, you're gonna fight some guy this
Yeah.
about this tall.
Right.
And I was like, all right. I was like, I'll get to that. Honestly, that coach right there, he taught me all the basics and like he made me really good at all the basics. But once I had met Classic, I had went with that coach from the grappling gym, done 2 fights. Since he was from Brazil, we had that language barrier. He only spoke Portuguese. I only spoke English and Spanish. So it was really hard, like going through those fights, having him trying to talk to me like in Portuguese and me trying to understand.
Yeah.
Regardless, he was a good coach. But my first 2 fights I had taken losses. I was 0-2, and then my coach eventually had to go back to Brazil, and so I had to look for a different team. And I had just started looking around. I would always see Diego and Tyler post on their Instagram. Had went to Sparler one day, and
Bad dudes, man.
yeah,
Bad dudes.
I had got beat up. Like I've been to a bunch. I have been to a bunch of gyms and to spar, but that day I went, there were so many pro fighters, even amateur fighters. Just the work you get there is insane. It's like one of the best striking gyms.
Yeah.
After that, I was hooked. I just kept going with them. I had told coach I was like, I want to start fighting and representing for this team, and then before this fight for Fighters Rep, I had fought kickboxing in a Muay Thai organization, and I had got a liver KO finish there with Classic.
Mm.
And then I was like, oh, this team's working. And then I had wanted to do kickboxing again. And the best kickboxing organization in California, I always wanted to compete for you guys, Fighters Rep.
Let's go. Let's go. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you,
I had to
man.
get it done, get in the lines then, and it was the best experience. I had gone to see previous shows with you guys, and the energy there is insane. Exactly, like you have to be there to feel the energy.
I
Go to one of the
appreciate
shows and you'll
that,
feel
man.
it.
And listen, what you did in that first fight, man. I've had some incredible first fights, you know, because like I told you, I do this shit on purpose, right? Because I'm trying to entertain the crowd. I'm trying to entertain the crowd, and I'm trying to hype everyone up, and I'm trying to hype the fighters in the locker room who are watching these fights happen as well. I want them to be like, oh shit, look what just happened. I want to go out there and match that energy. And man, you set a tone, and we ended up once again with something like a 50% KO ratio. Like 50% of the card ended in stoppage. And that's what happens with kickboxing. You know, you can't run, you can't hold. You gotta stand and fight. So man, that was a phenomenal performance. Was the last fight you had? You said it was kickboxing as well, but in a Muay Thai organization.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the difference between the kickboxing and the Muay Thai rule set? I mean, I feel like kickboxing is probably a lot faster, but how do you feel about it?
Exactly. That's what I was thinking. My first two fights, right when I turned 18, took a Muay Thai fight. So basically, I have a year competing in Muay Thai / kickboxing. My first Muay Thai fight was August 2022. So like literally like August and September, it was like a year and a month when I had gone with you guys that had been competing. But my first two fights were Muay Thai, and I feel like the clinch is a really like a different feeling than just striking. Back then, I would go to a whole bunch of gyms and spar, and not a lot of gyms spar with elbows, so it's basically kickboxing. And I would feel like I would do well, and then my first two fights took Muay Thai. Like that clinch is pretty rough. Like and they let it go on for a while in these organizations, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm like, get this guy off me. I want to strike. I just want to throw punches.
Yeah.
I would want to throw elbows too, but like I feel like the clinch is a little too long. So right now I just wanted to do some kickboxing because that last fight I had was kickboxing, and the first two Muay Thai fights I was like, get this guy off me. They just kept clinching me, and I was like, is it me? But after that I was like, okay, I'll try kickboxing, and so far like no clinch has been pretty good.
Yeah.
And even in the clinch, I had just started to work like. Since it's 3 to 5 seconds in Fighters Rep, at least I know, okay, I'm going to get 1-2 knees off and that's it. It's going to be done. As many as I can before they break it.
I like that. You know the rules.
Let me ask you something, though. What do you feel like is your strengths in, kickboxing? What do you think? What are some things you want to work on?
My
Sit
kicks.
after the fight or whatever.
My kicks, you guys haven't like even in the last fight I had at the other organization, and this one I didn't really get to use my legs too much because on the other one the guy was going too back, so I tried kicking and he was out of range, and this guy was just pressing me, so he was stuffing my kicks. I couldn't really kick him. So I want to work on my kicks in kickboxing. You guys will see I have some pretty strong kicks, some hard kicks, but I got some hands too. That's what I resort to.
I love it, man. I love it. Ladies and gentlemen, before we continue, be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't. We do this every week. We're going to be bringing on fantastic young guests and fighters like Edgar Fraga. Give him a follow on Instagram. Show him some love. Sponsor the kid. You could follow him on Instagram at KD Gar right there on the bottom. And check this out. Anything anybody donates to the super chat on this live or afterwards as a super thanks, I'm splitting the profit with Edgar. We're going to throw it his way. So if you're feeling generous, that's a great way to support Edgar. Edgar, man, what an amazing opening fight. You know, I can't get over it. I imagine you've watched it and shared it with a bunch of your friends. You know, what's your team got to say about it, man? They got to be proud of you.
Yeah, they're proud of me, especially like I said, going back to what you said when I joined up with Classic. I had joined up with them and started doing well my first fight. Second fight, I keep it going. So far I have 2 first round finishes with them. So I just want to keep it going with them and just not stop that train. Just don't stop.
Wow. That's a really impressive change and effect that you're seeing from joining that gym. You know, as soon as you join that gym to get 2 first round finishes in a row after being 0-2 before that, you know, I think that says something. And I know you're something like 5-2 in the PKB circuit as well, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like when I was with my first coach, I had told him, like I said, I want to compete. I lost I went down to 150 and then started doing those PKBs. I did those for like a year straight, 2021. And then I did 7 of those in that year. And then I did in 2022, like I said, of August, I had taken that break from the beginning of 2021 to 2022, and then took a regular amateur fight because I was like, okay, I'm not doing bad in these PKBs, but it's honestly a really different feeling. But regardless, I wanted to take amateur fights because I took one at 18 because I really liked elbows, but then that clinch is the same.
Yeah, and I think that's the problem. And Gary, I think I've told you this too. I think that's the problem with the amateur Muay Thai, at least in California. I mean, I'm sure they do it like this in other places as well. But you know, in a 2-minute fight, when you can clinch and there's no limit to the clinch, you could literally just end up clinching for 6 minutes straight.
Exactly.
You know, so it's why I don't really love the rules. So I got a lot of respect for Muay Thai, as you guys, you know, I'm sure you guys know it's a brutal sport and it's a fantastic sport, but I just think as far as friendliness and entertainment for the crowd and easy to understand, there's very few sports that are easy to understand as kickboxing, you know. So I just think it works, and I think it's in your wheelhouse, Edgar. I gotta say, with the hands, with the kicks, so everything you showed, I feel like kickboxing is your wheelhouse, man.
He definitely got some hands on him. I seen that. He definitely got some hands. I don't want to be anywhere around them hands.
I agree with George. Like in the amateurs, they let you clinch way too much for 2-minute rounds. Like maybe if it was one championship, if you ever watched one, clinching in Muay Thai, there's max FightersRep, probably 3 to 5 seconds, and then they break it. And even though they're still throwing elbows, they break the clinch really quick there. But amateur Muay Thai is just maybe if they would break the clinch a little quicker, because half of these guys aren't even working the clinch that high level, just gripping onto you, trying to throw you left and right.
Yeah. No, I'm with you 100%. That's why we do kickboxing. And that's why we hope to have you back on November 18th. And here comes the shameless plug, FightersRep 20. It's going down at the Commerce Casino. You can get your tickets now. You can get your live stream now. Just go to FightersRep.com, and hopefully you'll see Edgar Fraga come back and put on another fantastic show. Edgar, man, anything you want to say, anyone you want to shout out, the floor is yours before we let you go and move on to the next topic. But, you know, I want to give you this opportunity to say whatever it is you'd like to say. And maybe Gary has another question for you as well.
I'm good right now.
No, just wanted to say thank you. Shout out to my team, Classic Fight Team. They've really been helping me evolve as a fighter. If you want good striking, go there. Shout out my coach in Brazil, Macon Oler, one of the best coaches. Shout out my coaches here in California, Tyler Wombles, Diego Paez, both of them really good coaches. Shout out my family, my mom, my dad. I love my mom. I love my dad. Love my family. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
I love it. Appreciate your time, Edgar. Thank you so
Appreciate
much.
it, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, Edgar Fraga. Follow him at KD Gar. It's right there on the bottom of your screen. Thank you, Edgar. I'm going to let you go now, man.
Thank you.
You know, we'll see you soon, brother. Have a great one.
Hopefully.
All right, man. All right. Well, that was a lot of fun, Gary. But, you know, I mean, great kid, man. Good talker too.
Yeah. He seems about business, but he seems focused. That's what you want to see out of a fighter, focus and about wanting to get better and just, he knocked the guy in the first round and he's like, man, I want to show you guys more what I could do.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's dope. You're not satisfied with the performance, even though you got a first round knockout in 2 minutes.
Yeah,
What
he just looked focused to me, man. When I saw him at the open workout, first off, if you show up to the open workout, which is, we do open workouts for the fighters, Gary, just to get them out there so people could come see them and support them and we can get pictures and content for them and get them some free videos so they could advertise their fight, so we could advertise their fight. Not everybody shows up to that. Not everybody likes to market themselves. When he showed up to that, and he not only showed up, he showed up with a coach, and they were doing a mitt routine in the ring. Exactly what I want. It's exactly what I want to see from these guys. And if you would have seen when I saw the way he was hitting those mitts, I was like, I said, okay, this kid is serious. He's got skills, he's got speed, he's got power. You could see the technique. And his opponent, Alec, he had fought for us previously, and I know he's tough and he's good too. And so I knew it would be explosive. But anyway, Gary, on to the next topic. Man, Zhilei Big Bang Zhang, or Zhang, however they want to say it, versus Joyce, man. This was a fight, and it went down on, I want to say it went down on Saturday. I'm totally losing track of the days at this point. This was a fight that, for me, determines top 5 heavyweight, for sure. I've always thought Joyce was a guy who could beat pretty much anyone. And then Zhang came along, beat him the first time, and this time did so in a more convincing fashion, stopping him in the third round. Wow, man. Wow. Just give me your thoughts on this fight. Give me your thoughts on Zhang's performance. What do you think about this whole thing?
I mean, me and you have a different opinion of Joyce. I mean, I really think, pretty much he's a big guy. You know what I mean? He's a big guy, and I think a lot of the fights he got, with size and, pressuring guys, taking shots and eating them and pressuring guys and overwhelming guys. He has power, obviously, because he knocked out everybody until now. They hurt everybody, but I just feel like he doesn't. He's a flat-footed guy. He's not like, his hands aren't very fast. He's not very technical, seeing that he started late. You know what I mean, and everything, and getting kind of reminds me of like Wilder. They started late. Both of them started like in their early 20s or whatever. And so I think, as far as defensive wise, he the first fight, it showed in the first fight, defensive wise, he was eating a lot of shots. You know what I mean? And it shut that eye on him. Eating a lot of shots, kept his head, didn't have a lot of head movement, and Zhang, and even in the first fight, he's a slick fighter. He pretty much, I think, percentage wise of power points or something, he like doubled them or something like that. And he was just, he was more, you could tell he's a slicker fighter.
Bro, he landed 52% of his power punches.
Yeah,
what the hell? 52%, bro.
You know what I'm saying? That means you're just not even, and that left just kept coming. It just kept coming, eating him up. And he wasn't doing anything to change it. He wasn't, and I understand that he's been able to walk through other people, but he doesn't have the fastest hands. He doesn't have the fastest feet. He's a big guy, lumbering guy. And Zhang, even though he's a big, huge guy too, he still has faster hands. He's a little bit slicker, you know what I'm saying? And he's a better boxer all around. I don't see Joyce beating Zhang anytime. They can fight again. He's going to lose again. Because he's not, to me, he's just not on that level. I never had felt like, I know there were talks about something about like AJ spar with him and had a pretty easy time with him or something like that. But I didn't see him beating none of the top 4 guys that we consider now.
Oh, you're tripping, man. You're tripping. I think he will. I think he
I
would.
mean, I'm just saying we could talk about who you think he could beat.
Yeah,
but I don't see him beating any of the top 4 guys.
boxing.
And Zhang, I think Zhang has a better chance because but at the same time, Zhang lost against
Hrgovic.
What's his name? Huh?
Hrgovic.
Yeah, he lost against him. Yeah, that was a close fight.
Good fight.
That was a close fight.
Yeah.
But it was a close fight. The one thing I like about Zhang is he adapts. He learns how to counter guys. He gets up with your timing. He gets the timing. He says, "Oh, okay, I got his timing." Even if you're faster than him, because I can't. All these different names I can't pronounce. I can't pronounce all their names. I mean, they have letters in different.
Ladies and gentlemen, we were products of the Miami-Dade County Public School System.
What's his name? It's spelled. I forgot. It's spelled FIRI, something like that. I forgot. I whatever. But anyway, you know what I'm talking about. You can pronounce it, George. You're a multi-language. You do all those.
That's the only reason.
But he, when you look at it like even. He was faster than Zhang, but Zhang, after a while, started catching his timing as the fight went on. You see, he started catching them. He started catching them coming in because Zhang is a good counterpuncher.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's a very good counterpuncher. So with counterpunchers, it don't really matter with speed. Once they get your timing, your speed and everything, and they can kind of, and then, and I felt like even when Joyce beat what's his name? He was the other top contender. It's fighting for Zhang.
Dubois? Was it?
No,
Dubois?
not Dubois. No. It was
He's beating a lot of people, dude. He's a tough guy,
right
man.
before he just beat him. He knocked him out in like the 11th round. It's I can't think of his name right now.
I'll look him up.
But I thought.
But why don't you think? Before this fight, Joe Parker, Joe Parker, man.
He's good. And
former champ.
I felt Joe
Parker's a former champ.
Yeah, even that fight, Joe Parker. I felt in the earlier rounds, Joe Parker was using his speed, using his movement, and he was getting the best of Joe Joyce. Yeah. But I just felt like Joe Joyce was eating his punches, walking him down, and I felt like Parker had to keep moving around the ring to kind of avoid him. And eventually he got tired, and it just came. Once he started catching them. He started catching them after a while. And like I said, he has heavy hands. He's a big guy. He's bigger. He was bigger than Parker. It was clear. You can look at the two sides. He was bigger than Parker. He was walking through his punches, even though Parker was landing some crisp, clean shots on him in the earlier round.
But he's got a chin on him usually. He usually doesn't get hurt. By the way, big shout out to Boxing Learner in here. He says, "What's up, guys? What's up, boxing?" And we've also got Adari Pennant. Appreciate you being in here. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Making some good comments in here. He's saying Zhilei Zhang versus Andy Ruiz would be awesome in China for the WBC heavyweight position. That would be attractive. Joe Joyce needs to use the cross arm guard to protect himself. Kind of like was it George Foreman? And yeah. And can,
not a bad idea though.
Yeah. And can anyone imagine if Zhang became the first Chinese heavyweight champion of the world? That would be pretty crazy. He was robbed in the Hrgovic fight, he says, and then he says Dempsey McKean, who's an Australian fighter who Hrgovic just knocked out. So he was probably trying to answer your question related to Hrgovic. Dempsey McKean is the guy Hrgovic just knocked out, but you were talking about Joyce, who just knocked out Parker, who's one of the better heavyweights. So that's why I told you, for me, for a while, it was Fury, Usyk, and then I really had to put Joyce up there. Because he's got an engine. He doesn't get tired. He's so big. I'd never seen him hurt before. And I'm not saying skill-wise, but look, Deontay Wilder's up there for me too, and his skills are not that great either.
And that's why I say they remind me of each other. That's exactly what I said.
I mean, you wouldn't even say Joyce is a top 4, top 5. I mean, who's better than him before this? I didn't think
I still think he's going to beat AJ. I don't think AJ. I don't. This is my thing. I don't
think
think
he could beat AJ. I think he could still beat AJ.
Because let me tell you something. I still feel AJ is a better boxer than him, and he's not going to take AJ's punches like he took Parker. What do you mean like this? AJ's a way better boxer than him.
I think Zhang. I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe
what happened to you, man? You used to be high on AJ. What happened?
This sounds crazy. I think Zhang beats the shit out of AJ if they fight right now. I think he beats the shit out of AJ.
Listen, I'll give Zhang a shot against AJ. I'll give him a shot.
Yeah, I mean, I could see him. I can see him beating. I can see him beating anyone, maybe other than Fury. I could see him beating anyone. I mean, he's got the technique to beat anyone other than Fury. I
mean, I guess you can say that about Zhang.
Yeah,
I wouldn't bet my money on it. As far as like, I mean,
nervous.
I think Usyk.
You'd be nervous. I'd be nervous betting against
Wilder. I wouldn't bet it against Wilder. I would bet on Wilder. I'll just say that.
You think Wilder would beat Zhang? Yeah,
because here's the difference.
But you don't see.
I'll tell you the difference.
But that head nod wasn't like super sure. You were just like
no.
Like
I mean, no. I'm like this. No. I think if I had to bet my money, I say Wilder. One, I seen Wilder take big shots. He has a chin. That's one. Two, only person that's been able to escape that right hand of his, Fury. And even Fury got caught. Fury just got up. And then three, and then like I said, and then three, Wilder's way more athletic than Joe Joyce. He's way more athletic than Joe Joyce. So far as feet wise and hand speed, and he has his long arms, and I think that he'll be able to.
Zhang's a lefty.
Yeah, a southpaw. Yeah,
and he fights correctly. He knows what he's doing. I mean, he's got a pedigree. Like, he's a real boxer, and he knows what he's doing. And if he could stay away from that right hand, or at least keep it at bay, I know. But listen, he's got that's a heavy left hand. He laid Joe Joyce out, bro. That was a third round one-hitter quitter. I don't care what anyone says. That was a one-hitter quitter he landed on.
Joe Joyce left his chin wide open.
And Joe Joyce has never. I've never even seen the guy hurt. I never even seen him hurt.
I don't care how tough you is. You keep letting somebody punch you in the face, especially with somebody with power. You're gonna get eventually knocked out. I don't want to hear. You have Mayorga who used to let people hit him. Eventually, he found somebody to put him down. You keep giving me your chin. I mean, he tried to do the shoulder roll, kind of have to use the shoulder to block his chin. But as soon as he went to throw the right, he opened up where the shoulder's supposed to protect your chin. It was open. Right. He was standing straight up for it to be hit.
I still can't stop thinking about that nod you did. You look like a kid that did something bad and was not sure if he was like gonna lie or not. And you were like this. Like, did you just shit your pants? it was like something like that,
No. I was thinking like, well, you said, you sure? I'm thinking of looking like, yeah, he catches him. He catches him eventually. Eventually, at some point. And the thing is, I'm not saying it because Wilder is a better boxer than Zhang. Zhang is obviously the better boxer, but that's Wilder in like almost all of his fights. He's the lesser fighter. I know you don't like to mention the Ortiz fight. You always say he's old, but Zhang is old as well too.
Sure.
Zhang is old as well too, but Ortiz
lefty
pretty
too.
much
Lefty too.
Yeah.
He's a lefty too. Yeah.
When
But
he
here's the
caught
thing.
him.
But here's the thing, though. Like, Zhang can't beat Wilder. Zhang can beat Wilder, bro.
I didn't say it can't. If I had to bet my money on it,
It would be
my money. I'm going on Wilder.
For me, it would be a scary bet. Like, I'd be worried about it. I'd be worried about it. I think he beats Usyk. I think he's just too big and strong for Usyk.
See, that's the problem. I think Usyk will have is that he's so big and he's strong and he can box. He's not like AJ is more stiff, more robotic, kind of like he's more robotic, kind of like Joyce. Joyce is real stiff and robotic. But the thing is, I feel like AJ's a better boxer than Joyce. He's just a better boxer, and he has power on both hands.
So Zhang versus AJ, who would you favor in that fight? Excuse me. That's a tough one.
Yeah.
Zhang really showed me something on Saturday, bro. He really showed me something. He really
I like Zhang. One thing I really like about Zhang is that his ability to, throughout the fight to, adjust, start seeing his counter punching, kind of like, and that's and to me, I feel like that's how Ruiz kind of got AJ in the midst of him punching, catching him punching and punching between. One thing I'm trying to think. One thing that who was it? I'm trying to think of the fighter. It was another fighter. He balls up when they punch him, then he throws after you punch, and it's that's better for the fighter punching. The better way to kind of catch people is catch them while they're punching, and that's why I love counter punches. Because if you wait for somebody to throw their rally, then go, it makes it harder to kind of get them or stand in the middle of the ring and kind of even Zhang, honestly, he did it a little bit at the beginning when he on the fight that he lost and won the decision before Joyce. When they had that fight, it kind of in the beginning of the fight, he kind of was, high guard, boom, boom, boom. Then after a while, I guess he was trying to catch on. Like, if you're not used to somebody's speed, you're kind of like, okay, let me adjust to the person's speed and let me kind of see how the speed is coming and where it's coming from or whatever. But that's how I feel like AJ got caught with Andy Ruiz, and I feel like Zhang has that capability to catch him throwing something and time it up and boom and get him. But I can't. To me, I feel like that's a 50-50 fight.
I think his technique is better. I think he fights off the back foot. It's like a bigger, slower Terrence Crawford type of stance, on that back foot, commits when he has to. I was really impressed by his boxing ability. I told Coach Derek Collinsworth, he's my buddy. He's been on the show a bunch of times. He wanted to do something about this. We should have gotten him on tonight, but we'll get him on soon. He's like, what you think, G? I was like, bro, I told him if Joyce can stay away from that left hand, he's got a shot. I literally wrote that text. I said, if he doesn't get away from that left hand, he's in trouble, just like he was last time. And he agreed, and he was telling me he needs to throw his 3-2-1 instead of a 1-2-3. He said he needs to throw a 3-2-1 because they're opposite stances, and he can catch him. And you could see in the beginning, Joyce was being more defensive. He was trying to be something that he was not, though. You could tell he was uncomfortable. You could tell it wasn't his style, but you could tell he was already worried about the left hand, and that the left hand was kind of what caused
he got caught with it early. He got caught with it early and often in that second fight.
Yeah, and we're big Joyce fans, me and Coach Collinsworth. I always thought Joyce was going to be next in line. I kind of feel bad for him, but man, Zhang impressed me, man. He impressed me. He looked good out there, man. He looked good out there.
I'm never a super big, and I know these are big guys, but I'm never super big fans of people who are flat-footed or robotic. I don't know. I don't know if AJ tried to talk to your mom or something, but you're off the AJ train. You used to, I remember we used to go back and forth with AJ and Wilder and all these Tyson Fury and Wilder. Tyson Fury and AJ. And I just always felt AJ was stiff and flat-footed and things of that nature. I just don't. I remember listening to Floyd, and Floyd was like, yo, you come in the fight and you're not on your toes, then I already know I got you. And I just, guys who don't really have great feet movement and great head movement, you're eventually gonna find someone. That I mean, even you can look at Errol Spence. I thought Errol
I was
Spence.
just gonna, I was just gonna say, I was just gonna say,
That's
you
why you
picked
said
Spence
you
and I
usually don't
picked
like guys
Crawford.
like that.
I was just gonna say, I picked Crawford, you picked Spence. So like,
Hey,
I
what did you
remember
tell
when
before that fight?
I remember when you picked him. I was like, Gary, what are you doing? You're going against your instincts. You're going against your nature. You never
Exactly.
pick guys. We never pick guys like that over the technical guy. You know.
Exactly. That's my whole point to you. That's why I would never be on a Joe Joyce train, because I know he's gonna meet a fighter like Tyson Fury would destroy him. Just in my opinion, Tyson Fury would destroy him because he's a big Usyk. The problem with Usyk with Joe Joyce is he's a big guy. Usyk's not a power shot guy.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I
a
thought.
big guy.
That's why I thought Joyce was next in line, because I didn't see anyone who was such a boxer that was going to beat Joyce. And then his head was like a fucking tank. Dude, his head is like an Easter Island statue. I didn't think he could get hurt. And then freaking it just so happens he ran into a 6'6" big ass dude from China. Like, what the hell, bro? Like, his fists, this dude's fists are like this big. His head is this big too. They're both like two juggernauts fighting each other. I was like, man, this guy's crazy, man. And I just, but before Zhang, and listen, Zhang looked like shit in a couple fights back. Zhang looked so bad, and then they said it was because he had developed some sort of condition. I think it's something to do with his liver or something. And because he was winning that fight. Yeah, he was winning that fight. And then he let this guy come back, and it ended up a draw. And I was like, man, Zhang's done. You know, he looks like shit. He's almost 40. He's done. But then he comes out, and I guess whatever condition he had, he got it figured out. And he just looked real good. By the way, shout out to Jason, the Granado, the champ, the Gator. He's in the chat, says, yo, what's cracking? We got the Heinies out. We got the Heinies out, ladies and gentlemen. But anyway, man, yeah, I don't know, man. I'm impressed. Maybe I did fall off the AJ train because after Ruiz beat him, I just didn't see the same guy anymore. I don't see him anymore. But yeah, I'm on the Zhang train now, man. I'm on the Zhang train. I think Zhang's good, man. I want to see Zhang fight everyone. Anyway. You good?
Yeah. I'm good, man. A little distraction over here.
Yeah,
they come out. But I mean it was he didn't change anything, and Zhang ended it quicker. I mean, the first fight, I'm surprised he took as much punishment.
He didn't change it though. Did you see he was fighting like back here? He did change it. He was anticipating the left hand, but he's so kind of to your point, he's so clumsy. His feet were he's so lead-footed. He just couldn't be that guy. You know, he can't be that guy.
And to me, his punches compared to Zhang, who I think Zhang for his size has pretty good speed in his hands.
Yeah.
But I don't think he has the fastest hands. I've seen faster. Like when the fight before that he lost. I felt like I can't say his name again, but
no, I don't think I didn't think Hrgović had faster.
With his 1-2s, it looked a little faster. It looked a little to that. Like, I don't know about more powerful, but speed wise, like he had a little bit more of the speed edge. Zhang just had more of the, he when you such a good counterpuncher as him and you learn people's timing, I keep saying it, but when you do, that's what I was taught. It nullifies all that speed. Like even I think Floyd was talking about when he fought Zab, and Zab was just as fast or maybe faster than Floyd. And you nullify that once you start doing other things and you start, a smart fighter knows how to speed really isn't going to matter that much if you're just a little bit faster than him.
Yeah. Well, I feel like this video is going to go viral in China once they see a bunch of Americans with funny hats and shit talking about a Chinese heavyweight. That would be amazing to see. I will say that would be really cool. And I bet he would inspire like a bunch of young Chinese fighters if he ended up becoming the champ. And he looks like he could at least catch. I think he could catch one belt at least, bro.
I mean, I think his name at this point, because I mean, if you look at the rankings and who they are, I think it didn't at this point he deserves to be talked about in that conversation.
Yeah.
Along with, I know you're gonna hate this, Andy Ruiz, but I think him, Andy Ruiz, Tyson Fury, Usyk,
Hergovic.
Yeah. All those are fighters that deserve their names in the mix.
Yeah.
You know, those
And
are
Wilder.
the ones that.
And Wilder, we should do a tournament. And Wilder, Fury, Hergovic, Zhang, Ruiz.
Oh, like they did the super. What was that? What was that? What they did with
Super Six? Super Six.
Yeah.
Super Six. But anyway, man, listen, that was a lot of fun, man. I need to sign out now, but I really appreciate everybody joining me and Gary for another episode of the Fighters Rep podcast. Gary's, that was a lot of fun interviewing a fighter with you. I think we're gonna have to do that more often, man. Especially
it was cool, man.
Yeah, maybe get some coaches in here too, man. You know what I mean? And really pick their brains about this kickboxing thing. And guys, be sure to follow Gary as well at Ignorant Behavior on Instagram. He's always posting really inappropriate stuff. So I'm sure you guys will get a lot of kicks.
A lot of ignorant behavior.
Give us a follow at FightersRep, and we'll see you guys next week on Monday, or maybe drop something in between. And appreciate you guys. You guys have a great night. Gary, thank you, brother. We'll see you soon, man.
No problem, bro.